to a Cooperative Virtual Learning Experience from embryo to chick. For today's lesson, we will explore the different parts of the eggs through a couple different activities. But before we get started, I need to take a moment to wash my hands using proper technique so I can turn the eggs. Thank you so much for your patience while I turned the eggs and washed my hands before and after turning the eggs. We have a lot of material to cover today in a short amount of time, so we better get started. For the first activity, we are going to crack open a raw egg and compare what we see to our egg diagram.
What are some of the first things you notice or see? For me, the first things I notice is the hard shell, the slippery film located on the inside of the hard shell, and this small air pocket located on the blunt end of the egg. What is the yellow part of the egg? Or the clear liquid surrounding the yellow part? These are questions we need to know the answers to. The shell is the outer covering consisting mainly of calcium carbonate. It is the first line of defense against bacterial contamination. The second line of defense against bacterial contamination is the shell membrane. The shell membrane is fused to the shell and separates the shell from the liquid portion of the egg. It is also responsible for making hard-boiled eggs hard to peel. Speaking of hard-boiled eggs, have you ever noticed that the blunt end of a hard-boiled egg has a secret air pocket? That is the air cell. The air cell is an air pocket that forms between the inner and outer shell membranes to replace moisture the egg loses as it cools. The yellow part of the egg is the yolk. The yolk is a globular mass of yellow, nutritious semi-liquid located in the center of the egg. Yolk is the chick's food during pre-hatching life and its first food after it emerges from the shell. Within the yolk is the germinal disc. The germinal disc is a spot on the yolk from which the embryo develops after fertilization. It is where the nucleus of the egg is located. Blood vessels are sent from the germinal spot into the yolk in order to gain nutrients from the yolk. The yolk is anchored in the center of the eggshell cavity by the chelae, which are prolongations of the thick albumin that are twisted like ropes at each end of the yolk. Albumin is a combination of the four layers of a whitish, watery substance that surrounds and contains the yolk within the center of the eggshell. It is the white part of a hard-boiled egg and is 88% water and 11% protein. The last part of the egg is the vitelline membrane, which is only present in a fertilized egg. Since the raw egg we are viewing is not fertilized, this part of the egg is not present.
Who knew there were so many egg parts? And now, you're an expert in egg parts. For the second part of today's lesson, we are going to explore the shell membrane a little bit more. As you recall, the shell membrane fuses to the shell and separates the shell from the liquid portion of the egg. The outer shell membrane can be exposed by placing a raw egg in distilled vinegar for 2 days. After removing the egg from the vinegar, place the egg in water to prevent it from drying out.
Now, let's take a look at the 2 eggs submerged in distilled vinegar for 2 days. The first egg we are going to look at was a white egg that came from one of my hens, so it is definitely not fertilized as I do not have a rooster with my hens. As you can see, this egg no longer has a shell. Now, the only thing left is the shell membrane. I'm going to place this unfertilized egg on your left, if I can keep it from rolling away. The second egg was a darker cream color, but as you can see, the shell color doesn't affect the color of the shell membrane. This egg was the cracked egg that I removed prior to setting, which you may remember from Lesson 3 when we first discussed candling. So this one has the potential to be fertilized. If we are lucky, then it will be fertilized, so we can see the difference in a fertilized and unfertilized egg. First, I am going to very carefully pop the shell membrane of the egg that is 100% not fertilized. The shell membrane was super simple to pop. Right here is the germinal disc, which we learned about previously. And as you can see, the white is all concentrated and not spread out. Now, let's see if our second egg is fertilized. Fingers crossed, it is fertilized. Once again, the shell membrane was super simple to pop. But there are a couple major differences in these two eggs. First, there's an extra membrane, the vitelline membrane, that is only present in fertilized eggs. The second difference that I expect to see, due to the presence of the vitelline membrane, is with the germinal spot. I'm going to try and carefully remove the vitelline membrane so we can take a closer look at the germinal spot. The germinal spot was fertilized, so this egg would have been a good hatching egg, except for the cracked shell. Well, that was a fun activity, and how cool was it we got to see the difference between a fertilized and unfertilized egg?
Well, once again, our time together is over. Today, we have had the opportunity to explore the different parts of the egg, making us eggsperts. Before I close out, though, I would like to show you some of the best candling photos from the past few days. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day.